Good morning, church. I hope you're having a blessed day today. Today is going to be a little bit different than normal. Normally on a Sunday we have a powerful lesson, a little bit longer lesson. We go through all of our announcements, we talk about some things, but it has been a while since we did a ministry update to just kind of talk about what's going on in the ministry, what's going on here in Brazil. And so we're going to take today and we're just going to talk updates. We're going to update you on where we're at, what we're doing, what God is doing, and how you can be a part of these amazing things of God that are happening here in Brazil. So let's just start by beginning with where are we? We are still currently living here in Brazil. We live in São José, Santa Catarina, so we live in the south of Brazil. There's only one more state south of us, which is Rio Grande do Sul, and that's the final state before you're out of Brazil. If you are looking at a map and you look at where Belém is on the map, where we used to live in Pará, at the very north on the Amazon, and you just go straight down, north-south, all the way down, you will end up directly where we are right now. So Belém is the capital of the state of Pará. We lived in Ananindeua, which was right beside it. Florianópolis is the capital of Santa Catarina. We live right beside it. Same type of situation, 10 minutes down the road, you're in the capital. We just live a little outside. The same as when I lived in Chicago, we lived in Oak Park, technically. We weren't technically in Chicago, but you drive 10 minutes, now you're in Chicago. So all the same thing. I personally like to live a little bit outside of the city. It's always a little bit better for me. It's a little bit quieter, a little bit more affordable, and I just like the quietness of it all personally. So we still live in a little bit of an area that's a little bit busy, but it's a lot less than the middle of the city. So that's where we are. We're currently still in the south of Brazil. We're not leaving the south anytime soon, and we are not, as of now, there is no plan to move back to the state of Pará. I don't believe that's going to happen. I was actually speaking with a pastor just last night. We went out to dinner and we were talking about some things, and after the service, and he's like, I don't believe you'll ever move back to Pará. And I was like, I don't think so either. I don't believe that's the plan of God for us at this time at all. So that's nothing we're looking at currently. But that's a little bit of what's going on right now in our lives. We're living here in the south of Brazil. Now, what is different about the south of Brazil different than the north? Well, for the people that live in the north, they would consider themselves more dedicated to God in the way in which there's service 6 or 7 days a week, every week. Most churches have at least 5 services a week. It's truly incredible how often people are in the church. And if you were to ask me good or bad, well, I come from the United States where you do church 1 or 2 days a week. Then you transition to churches that do 5, 6, 7 days a week. I like the 5, 6, 7 days a week personally because I like to work. I like to be doing stuff. So for me personally, it's a little challenging sometimes here with the fact that there's only 1 or 2 days a week that we can preach in churches. So that's a little bit of the difference. And also you see a difference in the economic side of the city. Belém is a little bit more impoverished than here. Here is they've got some wealth, they've got some money, and we all know, as according to the Bible, that the more you increase in wealth, if you're not dedicated to God and mature in the Lord before that, it usually causes you to become lukewarm, and you're just kind of half in, half out. And that's the Church of Laodicea, which is very similar to the United States. So living here right where we are right now is very similar to living in the United States. I would say they're almost parallels to a lot of degrees. And it's very similar to living in Chicago where we are now. Not the location, but the kind of the culture is very similar in that aspect. Now, are we still preaching in churches? Absolutely. We have actually begun this partnership with the main church of a denomination in the Quadrangular. We are partnered with the SAGE, which is the main principal church. There's 18 total. They're number one, and there's 17 below them. And we're partnered with them. I preach every Wednesday night at their church at 8 p.m. Brazilian time, 7 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central time. It's also live on YouTube. We're teaching a class, just like we did in the state of Pará. I was teaching at a quadrangular. We taught Song of Solomon, Book of Daniel, Book of the Revelation. Here we just started the Song of Solomon. It's going to be about a 10 to 12 week class. It's very exciting. I preached at the church a couple times. I preached to their leaders. We've done quite a bit of work with this church, and it's very exciting. And we know a lot of pastors now, but that's a difference. When we lived in Pará, we would meet a pastor. We'd start booking churches quickly. Here it's a little different, but we are preaching in some other churches also. Just today, when this is going live, I will be at a church that night, Sunday night, preaching at an Assembly of God church in Paiosa, which is right below San Jose. So a lot of amazing things going on. We're going to a lot of places, a lot of churches doing a lot of great things. It's very exciting. So we got some big things going on. We are putting a big focus this year on really transforming this ministry in some different ways than we did before. Before our ministry was really things we did only on our own. You know, we sermons online, we preach in churches, and we do classes, but we handle all of it. Now we're doing a class. It's a full service. We're live streaming it. It's exciting. But not only that, we began working with a publisher. So if you know, for over 4.5 years, we have been publishing books. We have 10 books. We have 6 curriculums, 1 ebook, and 3 study guides that we've wrote in the past 4.5 years. And 3 of those study guides we have actually translated into Portuguese. And we have been self-publishing on our own. After I wrote our first curriculum, I sent it into some publishing companies to try to get published, and we didn't get anywhere with that. We didn't get anybody to accept our book. So we began to self-publish on our own, and it was great. We worked with a couple different stores, and then we finally found a printing company that we worked with, and they were amazing in Chicago. And then when we came here to Brazil, we wrote 3 new study guides, and we found some printing companies, and we self-printed, because when I worked with a publishing company, they, for better lack of a words, tried to screw us. They were deceptive, they lied, they tried to steal our money. Thank God we got our money back, but it was a process. So we just self-published from there on out. Well, now that we're here in the South and the Lord was speaking to me about this, we have began to work with an editor and a publishing company, and it's very exciting. And just this week, we have our first brand new published book. Now, we have taken the Song of Solomon study guide. It's in English on our website if you want a copy. And then we took the Portuguese copy and we turned it into a book. And this book is incredible. They are all plastic wrapped, so I'm not going to open this one. But it's incredible. The books look amazing. We're so happy to have it with us. And they also made these little cards for bookmarks, which is also very exciting. So we got that going on. That's a big deal. They just showed up yesterday. At the time of this recording, they just showed up yesterday. We sold a bunch of copies online, even to people in the United States, which was very exciting. And then we also have sold a bunch of copies here in Brazil. So the whole thing is just super, super exciting to see all the things that God is doing. I'm just truly blessed for all that's happening in the ministry. So that's our first book. We're probably going to start the process on the 2nd and 3rd book, the study guides, turning them into books. So we're going to be working on that also very soon. Probably going to start that process this week. That way we can publish all of our books. That's where we're going in this process, is to, at this point, no longer self-publish. We're going to publish all of our books. We're going to make sure we get all of the copies done in Portuguese first. That way people here can buy them. And then we maybe we'll do English copies also. So that might be very exciting. Just be waiting for that. We might make some English copies also. It won't be very many, but we might do some English copies also, fully turned into book formats and fully published. So we're looking at that also. We'll see how it goes. But that's one of the big updates on what's going on in the ministry is we have officially got our first book. It's so exciting. The books look incredible. And if you want a copy, if you're here in Brazil, they're 50 reais, and we can look at delivery depending on where you are. And then if you want one in the United States, they're in Portuguese, but you're more than welcome to buy one. We can talk about shipping cost. Obviously, it's a little bit more money because shipping is quite expensive to send back to the United States, but we can do that for you if that's something that you're looking at doing. Now, what else is going on with the ministry? Well, we got our daily teachings every day. We're back in our series on the dispensations of God. It's very exciting. We just finished talking about the first part of Noah's life. We're going into the dispensation of human government, which will climax at the Tower of Babel. It's only 3 chapters. And then we're going into Abraham, the father of promise. And we're going to talk about his life and talk about this dispensation of promise. So it's amazing. We got some amazing teachings that we just did on our series on Father Abraham. You can go back and listen to that. I was talking to one of my best friends about that, and he's telling me about some of those sermons that are just truly impactful if you watch them. And one of my favorites, which is also his favorite, was Staggering Not. It's incredible when you learn what that means. So I just want to encourage you, follow along with us every single day. Get discipled this year. It's one thing to watch every day. That's your daily bread. It's another thing to watch a sermon here or there. It's an entirely different thing when you take a class. You follow along with us in the Song of Solomon, verse by verse, section by section, really focusing in on it every week to take our discipleship curriculums and piece by piece, little by little, put a diligent focus in an area of the Word of God. I had a good friend of mine who had our BSM discipleship curriculum from the beginning. I mean, he bought one like the month it came out, 4 years ago, and it took almost 6 months before he opened it. But then he opened it, he studied it with a group of guys, and then studied it on his own. He studied it 3 times, and he said that first time he studied it changed his life, because of the information will truly change your life if you can receive that book. And I say this to everyone, you got to get, at some point, discipled. You got to get focused in the Word of God. And that's what those curriculums are all about. They're not a lot of information. It's a little bit, week by week, day by day, and it will change your life. Don't just buy the books and then don't read them. Buy the books, study them, put a focus in, receive of what God is going to tell you. And I will tell you today, every time I read and study, even through our own books, even through my own teachings, I get new revelation. I was studying in the Song of Solomon just this past week, just a couple days ago, and God hit me with this new revelation in chapter 1. I was like, wow! I don't think I have ever taught that piece of revelation or taught it in that way, and it's not even in the book. That's special revelation. That's new revelation, and that's what's incredible, is that the Word of God is alive, and you can receive more and more and more every time you read it. So just put a focus in this year to get discipled. I do want to say thank you to all of our partners. For us to be able to do this process on these books, they were not cheap. Let me tell you what, the process of working with an editor and buying the books and shipping, this was a very expensive process. And we're thankful we're able to sell them, and thankfully it may cover the cost, but it was a very expensive process to do this, and I couldn't have done it without God blessing my life and bringing such amazing, faithful partners into the ministry. And I do want to say thank you to all of you who do partner with us and who are a part of our ministry. You are a blessing to my heart and a blessing to my life. I am just So thankful for all of you that support the ministry. And if you want to support the ministry and become a partner, you can give at blankslateministries.org/give or blankslateministries.org/partnership to start your monthly giving. And I just want to say thank you to all of you that do support the ministry. You are a blessing to my life. Now, what's next? Where are we going? What's next? Well, we're going to finish our series on dispensations of God. That's big thing number one, is we're going to get through this series. We're going to finish talking about the dispensations of God. That's kind of the big thing that we're working on right now, is to talk about dispensations. We're going to keep selling these books on the Song of Solomon here in Brazil. Like I said, if you want a copy, send us a message. We can talk about how to get one to you. And we're gonna start working on the next couple books. They're going to be probably very expensive. And so I want to encourage you, if you want to partner with us and give and support that process, you are a blessing if you do help us in that. And I just say thank you in advance for all of the help as we begin working on our next 2 books. And we're going to keep doing our class Wednesday night, 8 p.m. I encourage you to join with us, watch, follow along, and receive of what God is doing. This class is different than I have done it before. The way I've done it before, it was powerful and great revelation, but this class is taking us through the same material, yet in almost a different way. And that different way is bringing out the depth of the revelation in the Song of Solomon. And it is so exciting. And I just want to say thank you to all of you that are following along with us and being a part of this. So that's all I got for you. That's a little update, little ministry update. We do this once or twice a year, kind of tell you what's going on. And there's just a lot of amazing things going on. And I'm so excited for all of it. And follow us on Instagram, Blank Slate Ministries. You can watch little short clips of our sermons. You can watch clips about our book, find all of our pictures, see where we're at, where we're going, what we're doing. And church, I love you. Thank you so much for all of you that are watching and participating with us. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Learn of what God is doing. I love you. God bless you. And we will see you tomorrow.